Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I'm going to share a card I created with product from the September through December 2024 mini catalog. The product is from a suite called Seasons of Elegance. A suite is a one code that will allow you to purchase everything in that suite if it's available at the time, or you can purchase the items separately. I call this a mega suite. There are two bundles in this suite. The Peaceful Evergreen bundle, it has stamp set and coordinating dies. I'm going to be using these 3 dies for my card. Stay tuned. I'm going to be showing future projects with this beautiful bundle. It also has the Peaceful Season bundle, which is all of these sentiments and all of these die images. I'm going to be using this banner die. I'm going to give you a tip. I'm just going to set this aside because I'm going to talk more about that. The Designer Series paper in that bundle is a specialty paper. It is 12 by 12 in size. You get 2 each of these 6 double-sided prints. They are absolutely beautiful in person, and the back side has the same colors as the front side, just not a foil design on them. Foil design is only on one side. It's absolutely beautiful. Also, I'll be showing future projects with those. There are some other things in that bundle. There's this beautiful cherry cobbler in gold ribbon. I'm not going to be using this on this project. And there are these beautiful adhesive dots. They are textured gold, 3 different sizes, 50 of each. And I'm not going to be using those, but I am going to be using the 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is called Painted Trees. There are 3 trees that when you place your paper in this folder, run it through your die cutting machine, you get this beautiful detailed image on the 3 trees. So I'm going to be using this. So back to the dies. I'm only going to be using this. But before I share this with you, I have some tips on this. And now I'm just looking, oh, here it is. What I did, so with this bundle, you can purchase the stamp set by itself, the dies by themselves, or their bundle for a 10% savings. These 2 dies together will create that. You can also stamp this image and cut it out with that die, and then you have these 6 additional dies. What I did with those dies is I took the dies and I put them on the window sheet that a photopolymer stamp set came on. They come on this, I peel them off, and then I put them on the inside of the case. Well, I put the dies on this window sheet, and then I ran them through my die cutting machine 1 time, just so I could get the image of the die here. Now I can overlay it on another image to see if that sentiment will fit in the banner. And that's what I did. I did not use one of the 2 stamp sets that are in the bundle for the suite for my sentiment on the card. I used a stamp set called Winterly Treetops. It is also in the mini catalog, and I'm using the Thinking of You from the Thinking of You Always stamp in this set. So before I get started, I'm going to share a couple more tips with you. So I mentioned you can do this for a template. Now, I mentioned that the stamp set's Thinking of You Always, but I'm only using the Thinking of You. You can color that just in with your marker, Stampin' Right marker, and stamp. What I do, and it's not for everybody, is I cut my image. So I cut off, after I put my label on, I cut off the always. So I'm using just the Thinking of You, but it's like a puzzle. I can put this right back in and place that right back in, and now I can use it Thinking of You Always. So as I mentioned, this is not for everybody, but I carefully cut that out, and you want to make sure you cut straight. You don't want to remove any foam underneath the red image. The other tip I want to share with you is in the back of my case. Now I do also want to note, I take these out only for video purposes, so my lights don't reflect on the case. So I'm going to stick that back in there. When you receive this, you have all of these are cut in here. When I take them off, take them out of here, I take this to my copy machine, turn it over, make a photocopy of this, trim it to size, and slip that inside my case. So now I have a placement for all of those images to go. So when I open up my case, I know which one's missing. Another tip I'm going to share with you is when you put these stickers on, they're really sticky. And when you put them on your clear block, sometimes it's hard to get them off. A tip is in one corner, take some Scotch tape. Just take your clear Scotch tape, and I've already done that in this corner. I place a little bit of Scotch tape there, then I take my paper snips, or you can take a different scissors and just trim that off. So trim off that excess tape. You don't need a lot, just a little bit in the corner. Now when you place that on your clear block and you're ready to take it off, you have a spot you can pick that up and peel that off after you clean it, and then put it back in your case. So a few tips to share with you, but we are here for a card. So let's get back to our card. So for our card, we have a card base, which is basic white. It's 8.5 by 5.5. And I've already folded this at the 4 1/4 and have that already folded. I have measurements. I also will have a PDF you can download, which will be your project sheet that has all the measurements, a photo, and a link to this video so you can rewatch it to recreate it. I have layer 1. I cut mine out of old olive. That's 3 3/4 by 5. I have mossy meadow at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then I have my layer 3, which is basic white at 3.5 by 4 3/4. I want a large tree image, and I cut that out of the old olive layer. No one's going to see that layer, so I have cut that out of that layer. For the medium tree, I cut that out of gold foil. And then for the small tree, I cut that out of the mossy meadow because no one's going to see that as it's sandwiched in between these layers. So that's how I got my 3 trees cut out. So those are the images I need, and this is the card base. So the first thing I'm going to do is texturize this basic white layer. I've done this before already, so I already know where I want to place it. I have different options here. I want to get this tall tree on the right side of it. The logo is the top. That's going to be your front image. So I'm going to put my tree, my paper over that tree, and then I'm going to have about 1/4 inch before the fold. And then I'm going to close that. With the Stampin' Cut machine, you need platform 1 and plate 4. And that's a photo here that kind of helps you with that, using 3D embossing folders. So you're going to place that on. I always put the fold in first, and then put your plate down and run that through. When you run that through, it's going to texturize the basic white. And I already have that done ahead of time. So I've got that tree in here, and then that is going to be like that. So we're not done with the folder, but we are going to assemble these layers. So I did not do this part ahead of time. So I'm going to use my silicone craft mat, and I'm going to apply my adhesive to the back of this. I'm going to take this layer, look at opposite corners, and the spacing I have for this is only about a 1/16 of an inch. But by putting cutting out your die cut here, you are maximizing your papers or your cardstock. So again, I'm going to put adhesive on the back, look at opposite corners, get my equal spacing, put that into place. Now for the measurements I've provided for this, now this next spacing is approximately 1/4 inch on all sides. So I'm going to, again, look at opposite corners and adhere that. So that is already beautiful. You could just put a sentiment on here and that would be great, and add some, Wink of Stella or some glimmer there. We're going to add more trees to this card. Now these trees are going to need some texture to them. So I'm going to bring this back into the picture, and I'm going to run these through the embossing folder. I'm going to put the large tree in the center tree, the tall tree on the tree on the left, and the small tree on the tree on the right. And again, the logo is the front, place that down, close that, put it on the platform, put the plate on. When you run that through, you're going to get all three of these trees to be texturized. So that's what I'm going to use for the card. And I'm going to place the gold one down first. Now you could use that beautiful designer series paper as well if you wanted to do that. Now I'm going to place this right here just with my double-sided adhesive. I'm going to put this tree on next, but what I do want to do, and let's see, I do have a bone folder handy here. I'm just going to curve these down a little bit. I don't want to remove the texture that folder, but I am going to bring that down a little bit. I'm going to take some dimensionals and I'm just going to place them going right up the top of that. And I have my mini glue dots are in another section of my craft room, so I'm going to place that down, just half of that. So I'm going to put that tree on with dimensionals, and I'm going to place that one about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the white, basic white layer, and place that one right here. Now when I put this one down, I want to add some more color and some gold to this. So to do that, I am going to bring in, let's see, I don't think I have a scratched piece of paper over here. So I am going to turn, let's see, this is something that I have printed on the other side, so I'm going to do that. So I didn't plan too well for that. I want to add some color to this. To do that, I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink and a sponge dauber. And I am going to softly tap this in and get some color on that dauber, and then just add some color right like so. And I'm just softly doing this. I want some depth and some texture to that. So if you softly do that, now you can add it darker if you choose. That's totally a personal decision, but I'm going to be okay with that. So that's going to add a little bit of depth. But as I mentioned, I do want to add some gold to this as well. So now I'm going to go to my silicone craft mat, and I'm going to bring in these metallic enamel basics. You get silver, copper, and gold. They are in the annual catalog. I will have the code number for these on the project sheet, on the bottom of my blog post, and on the bottom of my YouTube video. If you click on any of those numbers, it will take you right to the online store to see more detail. So what I'm going to do, and what I want to share with you, what you need to do this, so we'll plan ahead of time here. I'm going to use gold. I need a small clear block. I need some alcohol wipes. This is only for cleanup. And I think that's all I need right now. And my silicone craft mat. So what I'm going to do is take and put a small strip of this on my silicone craft mat. I'm going to take a clear block, and I'm going to put this in the clear block and get some of it on the block, and then just take this clear block and go over my tree image. I'm going to add a little bit more. And what it's doing, it's only adding the gold to the surfaces that I touch with the clear block. Depending on how much you have on the clear block is how much you're going to transfer to the project. So I don't know if it shows up on the video, but it has a metallic gold now added to the image. It does take a tad bit to dry. These alcohol wipes or any alcohol type wipe is great to clean up your silicone craft mat. So you want to get all of that off of here. And it's easier to clean this up before it dries. Once it's dry, you just need a little bit more elbow grease to get it off. But clean that up. And then if these are still kind of damp and have more use, I just pop those in there and use them for next time. So now we have this. You can see that that is not dry yet. So I'm going to bring one in that I already did ahead of time. This I did a little bit ago, and it's already dry. It doesn't need long. Thinking back, I should have done that first, but that's okay. I got lots of tips to share with you in this video. Now this one's already dry. What I am going to do is I'm just going to turn these down a little bit without taking any of the dimension away from here. So I've got that. I'm going to place dimensionals again, just right up the top of here. And I will snip a half of one on the edge, or you can cut one in half. And these are strong. You don't need a lot of these. So we're going to add that. Now I'm going to place this one down here. Oh, excuse me. That was unexpected. Place that down like that. Now I'm going to attach this. I'm going to just flip this over in case it's still damp. I'm going to put adhesive across the banner, but I also am going to take one dimensional and place right in that opening. So that keeps the banner higher and it doesn't fall into that cavity. I'm going to turn this over, look for spacing on the sides, look for it being that level. And we have that so far. I am going to add some embellishments. I'm going to use these iridescent faceted gems that are in the annual catalog, and you can use other little gems too. I'm going to add a couple of these. I'll put a larger one, a smaller one, and another smaller one right here. Just to add a little bit of gems to that. And that is my card. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial and all the tips I had to share with you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, there's a free project sheet. And I would love to have you like and share my videos. If you have any questions, please reach out. Take care and happy creating.